Alright Blades, what I'm about to tell you in the next 20 minutes will either leave you fuming, heartbroken, or quietly hopeful about where this club is heading. And honestly, it might be all three at once. We've just witnessed one of the most controversial nights at Bramall Lane in recent memory. Our gaffer sent off by a referee who seems to think he's the main character. Six major refereeing errors in a single match that could have changed everything. A legend of this club speaking uncomfortable truths about what's really going wrong in that dressing room. And a cruel injury blow that's ripped away a player before he could even make his first start in a red and white shirt. Aja Familia Blades. Before we dive into absolute chaos, let me ask you something quickly. Are you subscribed to this channel? Because if you're not, hit that subscribe button right now. Smash that notification bell and leave a like on this video. Trust me, with the way things are unfolding at Sheffield United right now, you absolutely cannot afford to miss a single update. The next few weeks could genuinely define our entire season, and I'm not being dramatic here. Now, here's exactly what we're unpacking today. A manager at absolute war with the officials who he believes are using Bramall Lane as nothing more than a testing ground for inexperienced referees. A crisis of confidence so deep, so psychological, that even Billy Bloody Sharp, our all-time record goalscorer, has had to publicly acknowledge it on BBC Radio Sheffield. In an injury situation that's gone from concerning to genuinely worrying. With our summer signing, Chong ruled out for up to 6 weeks, before even kicking a competitive ball. So here's my question to you, and I want you to really think about this. When was the last time you felt like absolutely everything everything was going against this football club? Because right now, sitting at the absolute bottom of the championship table with just 3 points from 8 matches, having scored only 3 goals and conceded 15, it genuinely feels like the universe itself has turned its back on the red and white army. Are you ready for this? Because buckle up. This is going to be one hell of a ride through the current state of Sheffield United Football Club. Let's start with the moment that's had every single blade absolutely raging for the past 48 hours. Chris Wilder's explosive red card and his absolutely blistering, no-holds-barred attack on championship refereeing standards. And trust me, this goes much deeper than just one controversial dismissal. Picture this scene at Bramall Lane on Tuesday night. It's halftime. We're 1-0 up against Southampton, one of the strongest sides in the division. The atmosphere is tense, but genuinely hopeful for the first time in weeks. Tyrese Campbell scored a brilliant goal. We're defending reasonably well, and you can sense that maybe this could be the night we turn things around. Then a ball rolls towards Wilder on the touchline during the break. Nothing unusual happens every single match. He kicks it back towards the stands where it came from. The ball takes a slight deflection, catches a supporter in the crowd, and before Wilder can even fully turn around after immediately apologizing to the bloke he accidentally hit, boom, Adam Herchig is brandishing a straight red card like he's won the bloody lottery. No warning. No yellow card first. No consideration for the fact it was clearly accidental. Just a straight red. And suddenly, our manager, the man who knows this club inside out, who's guided us through multiple promotions, who lives and breathes Sheffield United, is banished to the stands for the entire second half of a match we desperately needed to win. But here's where this story transforms from frustrating to absolutely infuriating. Blades. In his post-match press conference, Wilder didn't just complain about his own dismissal. He pulled back the curtain on something that's been bothering him and, frankly, should be bothering all of us for a long time. He called out the Football Association, the P, and the entire refereeing infrastructure for consistently using Sheffield United matches as a testing ground for inexperienced referees. Let's talk numbers for a second, because this is crucial. Adam Herchig, the official in charge on Tuesday night, has refereed just 10 championship matches in his entire career, 10 out of a total of only 86 professional games since making his debut way back in 2017. That's 8 years of officiating, and he's only done 86 matches total. Think about that ratio for a moment. This isn't a seasoned professional who's seen it all. This is someone who's still learning his trade, still developing his understanding of game management, still figuring out how to handle hyper-sure situations. And we're not talking about a quiet Tuesday night fixture between two mid-table sides with nothing on the line here. This is Sheffield United, a club that dropped out of the Premier League just last season. A club with genuine ambitions to bounce straight back. A club with nearly 28,000 passionate, vocal, demanding supporters packed into Bramall Lane, and our opponents, Southampton, another fallen Premier League giant, another club with massive expectations. This was absolutely a high-intensity championship fixture that demanded an experienced official who could handle the pressure, read the game intelligently, and not try to make himself the center of attention. According to Wilder, and he makes an absolutely brilliant point, here's Stephen Martin, who is widely regarded as a first-class championship referee with years of experience, was standing there as the fourth official, just standing on the touchline, watching. doing virtually nothing, whilst a relatively inexperienced ref took center stage in one of the biggest matches of the championship week. It's absolutely bizarre when you think about it logically. Wilder's exact words cut right to the heart of the matter. It just feels as if we'll chuck him in at Bramall Lane and see if he does well. And you know what? He's absolutely, categorically, right. Why weren't any of the Premier League officials available for a midweek championship clash? They can't all have been in Europe. There are dozens of them. This absolutely reeks of Sheffield United being treated as a convenient, low-risk training exercise for developing referees, which is frankly insulting to a club of our stature and history. But let's dig into those 6 major errors Wilder highlighted, because this is where the real injustice becomes crystal clear. These aren't marginal calls. These aren't 50-50 decisions that could go either way. These are genuine, significant mistakes that fundamentally altered the flow and potentially the outcome of the match. Error number 1. The penalty awarded to Southampton in the first half. Wilder described it as never a penalty in a million years, and from every single angle, from every replay, he's spot on. Minimal contact, player going down far too easily. Absolutely no way, that's a clear and obvious foul. Southampton missed it, thankfully, but that's not the point. The decision itself was wrong, and it gave them momentum they didn't deserve. Error number 2. A clear, blatant yellow card offense on Gus Hammer that went completely unpunished. Hammer was cynically fouled. The kind of tactical foul that's a yellow card. Every single day of the week in every league in the country. Nothing, not even a word from Herchig. Error number 3. Adam Armstrong should have been booked for a reckless challenge. Again, nothing. The pattern is becoming clear. Here Herchig was letting Southampton get away with far too much while scrutinizing every single United challenge with a microscope. Error number 4. Ben Mee's perfectly timed, brilliantly executed tackle was somehow ruled as a foul. Mee, an experienced defender who's played at the highest level, timed his challenge to absolute perfection, won the ball cleanly, and yet Herchig blows his whistle and gives Southampton a free kick in a dangerous position. It's genuinely baffling. Error number 5, and this is the one that had Bramall Lane absolutely erupting the 80th minute penalty shout, when Chedezi Ogbon was clearly, obviously, brought down inside the box. It wasn't even subtle. Ogbon's been fouled. He's going down. It's a stonewall penalty. Herchig waves it away like it's nothing. No VAR in the championship to correct these mistakes. So that's it. Decision made, move on. Absolutely criminal. And then error number 6. The gut punch that probably hurt more than all the others combined. City Peck's 90th minute equalizer. Chalked off for an apparent foul that nobody, and I genuinely mean nobody, could see. Not the players, not the coaching staff, not the 28,000 blades inside Bramall Lane, not the pundits analyzing it afterwards. Wilder said that people who weren't even at the match, respected figures in football who he considers friends, have contacted him saying they're completely baffled by the decision. The header was clean, the build-up was fine, and yet Herchig somehow spotted a foul that didn't exist and robbed us of a deserved point, even people completely outside Sheffield United neutral observers, football experts. Former professionals have reached out to Wilder saying they're genuinely perplexed that he even received a card for the ball incident, let alone a straight red. The consensus from across the football world is clear. It's a complete joke. Now, Wilder is appealing the red card decision, and he's genuinely confident he'll be back in the dugout for Saturday's absolutely crucial trip to Hull City. But here's the deeper, more troubling issue that goes beyond one match. How on earth are we supposed to fight our way out of the relegation zone where we currently sit dead last on just 3 points, when we're not just battling opponents, but seemingly incompetent, inexperienced officiating as well? This isn't paranoia. This isn't a manager making excuses. This is a legitimate pattern of Sheffield United being treated as a convenient training ground, and it needs to stop. We're a massive club with a proud history, and we deserve officials who are up to the standard required. Do you think the FA deliberately uses clubs like ours as testing grounds? Or is this just terrible luck combined with a shortage of quality referees? Because from where I'm standing, from where every blade is standing, Wilder has raised a very legitimate, very serious point, and it's about time someone with his profile said it out loud. Now, if that refereeing nightmare wasn't painful enough to digest, let's move on to something that cuts even deeper emotionally, because it's come from someone who genuinely bleeds red and white with every fiber of his being. Billy Sharp, club legend, doesn't even begin to cover what this man means to Sheffield United. We're talking about 274 goals in a Blades shirt across 2 spells spanning nearly 2 decades. Captain during multiple promotions, the man who scored that goal against Southampton in 2011, just days after his baby son died. The player who returned to us time and time again when bigger clubs came calling, because this place, this club, means everything to him. Billy Sharp is Sheffield United in so many profound ways. And this week, speaking on BBC Radio Sheffield whilst still playing for Doncaster Rovers down in League 2, he's had to do something incredibly difficult: publicly acknowledge the elephant in the room that nobody else wanted to say out loud. Confidence is completely, utterly shot. Sharp was sat in the stands at Bramall Lane on Tuesday night, watching as his beloved club, the place where he became a legend, threw away yet another lead against Southampton, and his assessment afterwards: brutally, painfully honest in the way that only someone who truly loves this club can be. You can see that the confidence in the players and in the group isn't really there. He said, no diplomatic language, just the cold, hard truth that needed saying. And he's absolutely right, isn't he? Look at the numbers. Blades, 7 defeats in 8 championship matches. Bottom of the entire division, 24 teams, and we're dead last. 3 points from 24 available. Just 3 goals scored, the worst attacking record in the league. 15 goals conceded. A goal difference of -12. These aren't just bad statistics. These are catastrophic. Relegation. And the truly frightening thing, we're only 8 games into a 46-match season. But what's so significant, so telling about Sharp's comments isn't just that he identified the problem plenty of people can see we're struggling, it's that he explained the vicious, self-perpetuating psychological cycle we're trapped in. When you're winning, it's hard to lose, he said. When you're losing, it's hard to keep going. That second sentence is the key to understanding where we are right now. It's mental warfare at this point, psychological torture. Every time we concede a goal, you can physically see the heads drop, the shoulders slump, the belief evaporate. Every missed chance feels like the weight of the entire world crashing down. Every dodgy refereeing decision against us, and God knows there have been plenty, just adds another brick to this wall of negativity that's being built around the squad. Sharp specifically called out Tuesday's Southampton defeat as perfect proof of this mental fragility. Think about how that match unfolded. We were excellent in the first half. Genuinely excellent, dominated possession in patches, defended solidly, created chances, and took a deserved 1-0 lead through Tyrese Campbell's brilliant finish. The players looked confident, organized, like a proper team. Then what happens after the break? Ross Stewart scores an absolute worldy strike that would win goal of the season in most years. A shot that gives Cooper in goal absolutely no chance whatsoever. And suddenly the entire belief system just collapses like a house of cards. It's like watching a boxer who's been knocked down too many times. They're still throwing punches, still technically doing the right things, but the conviction, the genuine belief they can win the fight, just isn't there anymore. Sharp went even deeper into the psychology, explaining something crucial that perhaps younger fans or those who haven't played the game might not fully appreciate. The second goal was obviously a thunderbolt, good enough to win the match, but they need to stick together. It's a long season. There's so much quality there, they just need to work really hard. Battle for the result like they did against Oxford. And then it's about getting a bit of momentum by winning more than 1 game in a row. That phrase, winning more than 1 game in a row, is so telling. We've had 1 victory all season. 1, against Oxford United. We can't even dream about promotion or playoffs right now. We're literally at the stage where stringing together wins feels like an impossible mountain to climb. Sharp then touched on something that's perhaps the most psychologically damaging aspect of our current predicament: being in the relegation zone. As soon as they get out of there, the bottom 3, the lads will be much more confident because they'll know they're out of the bottom 3. Psychologically, at the moment, I think they're struggling. Think about what that means. Every single training session, the players can see the league table, 24th, bottom, below everyone. That does something to you mentally, especially when you're professional athletes who've spent your entire lives being winners. Ben Mee has won promotion multiple times with Burnley. Gus Hamler was playing Premier League football for Coventry's rivals. Tom Davies was an Everton regular in the top flight. These aren't bad players. These are genuinely talented professionals who've been broken psychologically by constant defeat. But, and this is where Sharp's enduring love for the club shines through, he hasn't given up on us. Far from it. He genuinely, sincerely believes that once we string together a couple of victories and physically drag ourselves out of those bottom 3 positions, the confidence will flood back like a dam breaking. The quality is there. The talent exists. It's just buried under layers and layers of self-doubt and fear. When the interviewer asked Sharp directly if he believes Wilder can turn this situation around, his answer was immediate and unequivocal. Yes, game by game. He pointed out that Wilder's already secured that crucial first victory, the hardest one to get when you're in a rut this deep. He's a manager who knows Sheffield United inside out, who's done it before multiple times. Now it's about slowly, methodically building momentum, discovering the right starting 11 through trial and error, and demanding that players who get their opportunity in the team actually perform well enough to hold onto their shirts. Sharp even predicted what'll happen in training this week. The training this week will be demanding, and I'm sure the boys will be ready for the weekend. He knows Wilder. He knows how he operates. This will be an intense, physically and mentally challenging week designed to test who really wants to fight for this club. But let's not kid ourselves about the uncomfortable reality we're facing. We're running out of time. We've got Hull City away this weekend, then Preston, then Swansea. Then the fixtures just keep piling up relentlessly. If we don't start climbing that table soon, in the next 4 or 5 matches, this stops being a confidence crisis and becomes a genuine terrifying relegation battle. Sheffield United in League One. Again, just a few years after we were playing in the Premier League. How do you feel about Billy Sharp's honesty here? Blades, is it refreshing to hear a legend tell it like it is without the usual media-trained nonsense? Or does it somehow make the situation feel even more desperate and real? Right, let's shift gears slightly, because whilst the first 2 stories were largely doom and gloom, refrain, controversies, and psychological crises, this one sits somewhere in that uncomfortable middle ground, between heartbreak and cautious, perhaps naive optimism. Tahi Chong. If you're not familiar with that name yet, let me paint the picture. Former Manchester United academy product who was highly rated enough to get first-team chances under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, moved to Birmingham City on loan, then Werder Bremen, then Club Brugge, before joining Luton Town last season, where he was a regular in their Premier League campaign. Pacey winger, direct, can beat defenders one-on-one. Exactly the kind of creative spark we've been desperately crying out for in that final third all season. We signed him right at the death of the summer transfer window, seeing him as someone who could add genuine width and unpredictability to our attack. The fans were excited. The coaching staff clearly rated him, and then he arrived injured, a groin problem that kept him out of preseason entirely. Not ideal, but these things happen. He recovered, made a few substitute appearances, got some minutes under his belt, and was finally ready to make his first start for Sheffield United away at Oxford United. And then, in the cruelest twist imaginable, he went down injured during the warm-up. Not during the match, where at least you could say he gave everything. Not even in training, pushing himself too hard. During the bloody warm-up, football can be an absolutely brutal, merciless sport sometimes. The medical scan results confirmed what everyone feared: torn meniscus cartilage in his knee. 4 to 6 weeks minimum on the sideline. Surgery possibly required depending on how it heals. And this for a player who's already struggled with persistent injury problems over recent years, who missed most of preseason with that groin issue, who's only made 3 substitute appearances and played twice for Curacao internationally this season. His Sheffield United career has been cursed before it's even properly started. Wilder's reaction summed up the frustration perfectly. Unfortunately, it's not great. He's ruptured his meniscus cartilage during the warm-up, so it'll be 4 to 6 weeks. So, not as bad as it could have been, not a cruciate or something career-threatening, but unfortunately we're without a player who would have featured at Oxford and obviously would have featured in the next match. The international break comes at a good time in one sense. He might miss a few games just after the break, but hopefully he won't be out for too long. Think about the timing of this. Blades, we're desperate for goals. We've scored 3 in 8 matches. Our attacking output is genuinely embarrassing for a club with our resources and ambitions. And we've just lost a creative wide player who could have provided exactly the spark we're missing, right when we need him most. It's the hope that kills you with this football club sometimes, isn't it? But this is important. There were some genuinely positive, encouraging developments from Tuesday's Southampton defeat that suggest not everything is falling apart quite as dramatically as it might seem from the outside. Tom Davies returned from injury and looked absolutely class. And I don't mean class in the he was okay sense. I mean genuinely top-quality championship midfielder class. His composure on the ball, his ability to control the tempo when things were getting frantic, his positional awareness, his passing range, all of it looked exactly what we've been missing in the middle of the park. Having him back is genuinely massive. Wilder was effusive, bordering on delighted with what Davies brought. We're really pleased with Tom's contribution. I thought he calmed City down as well. It was City's best game so far. Playing the 2 in midfield gave us the balance that we wanted. That word balance is crucial. We've looked lopsided, disjointed, disconnected all season. Davies seems to provide that equilibrium. And let's talk about CityPEC for a moment, because this young man deserves enormous credit. He's been thrown into the absolute deep end this season. A kid asked to perform in a team in crisis. At the bottom of the table, with the pressure mounting every single week. He's had his ups and downs, made mistakes, looked overwhelmed at times. But Tuesday night was a statement performance. The disallowed goal will haunt him, it'll haunt all of us, but his overall display, especially when paired with Davies, showed exactly why the coaching staff rate him so incredibly highly. There's a proper player emerging here if we give him time and patience. Then there's Gus Hamer, who battled through the full 90 minutes, crucial for getting him back to full fitness. Hamer's our most naturally talented player on paper. When he's sharp, When he's fully fit, physically and mentally, he's comfortably Championship Player of the Year quality. Getting him back to peak condition could be the difference between relegation and survival. Tyrese Campbell scored a genuinely brilliant goal on Tuesday. His movement, his finish, his overall performance showed he's getting sharper and more confident with every passing week. He'll be frustrated with other chances he missed, but there's clearly a player finding his feet there, and defensively often overlooked when we're losing. Wilder actually thought we were fairly comfortable for large portions of the match, especially in that first half. I didn't see Cooper making many saves. It's really the top of the pitch, that final part, which is always the hardest to get right. But we'll get there, with time. That final phrase, "we'll get there, with time," is both reassuring and terrifying, isn't it? Reassuring because Wilder clearly still believes. Terrifying because we might not have time. The injury update also confirmed. Ben Godfrey remains unavailable for personal reasons, obviously something we have to respect completely. But his absence does leave us lighter at the back than we'd like. Positively though, there were no new physical injuries from the Southampton match, which is something approaching good news. So where does that leave us heading into Holloway? We've got pieces of a puzzle that could absolutely work if we can just find the right combination. Davies and Peck in midfield providing balance. Hammer getting fitter and sharper. Campbell finding his shooting boots and looking dangerous. The defense holding solid for periods. But we're also without Chong for at least another month, possibly 6 weeks. Still, dealing with Godfrey's absence. Still, desperately searching for that confidence Billy Sharp talked about. Still processing the refereeing injustice from Tuesday. Still, sitting bottom of the championship with just 3 points and a -12 goal difference. Are you encouraged by the individual performances of players like Davies, Peck, and Campbell? Do you genuinely think once Chong returns fully fit, he could be the missing creative piece? Or are we all just clutching desperately at straws, trying to find positives where none really exist? Alright Blades, let's bring all of this together. Because what we've just unpacked over the past 20 minutes isn't 3 separate, unconnected stories, it's 3 interconnected chapters of the same painful story. A story about a proud, historic, magnificent football club fighting simultaneously against opponents, officials, injuries, psychology, and most dangerously of all, their own shattered confidence. Chris Wilder is at absolute war with a refereeing system that he genuinely believes treats Sheffield United as nothing more than a convenient training ground for inexperienced officials. 6 major errors in one match. A red card for accidentally kicking a ball into the crowd. A legitimate appeal that he's confident will succeed. But the deeper issue remains. How do you win matches when you're battling incompetence alongside opposition? Billy Sharpower, legend, our all-time record goalscorer, the man who embodies everything this club stands for, has publicly acknowledged on BBC Radio Sheffield that we're in a confidence crisis so profound, so psychological, that it's affecting every single aspect of every single performance. 7 defeats in 8 matches, bottom of the championship, 3 points total. The numbers are catastrophic, and Sharp didn't sugarcoat any of it. And just when we thought we'd signed a creative spark who could inject some life into our moribund attack, Tae-Hith Chong's ripped his meniscus cartilage during a warm-up and faces 4 to 6 weeks on the sideline before even making his first start. The football gods aren't just testing us, they're actively working against us at this point. But here's what I genuinely believe about Sheffield United at the Blades end. I need you to hear this. We don't do easy. We never have. We never will. This is the club that's been relegated, bounced back stronger, promoted through the divisions, relegated again, and fought tooth and nail every single time, refusing to disappear. This is Steel City. This is Bramall Lane, one of the oldest professional football grounds in the entire world. This is a fan base that's witnessed literal decades of struggle and refused to give up. So yes, we're bottom of the table. Yes, we've only got 3 points from 8 matches. Yes, we've only scored 3 goals all season. Yes, absolutely everything seems to be conspiring against us right now. But we've also got a manager who's not afraid to call out injustice when he sees it, who's already guided this club to multiple promotions, who knows Sheffield United DNA better than almost anyone. We've got legends like Billy Sharp who still believe this squad possesses quality beneath the crisis. And we've got young players like Peck stepping up under immense pressure, experienced heads like Tom Davies returning to form and providing balance, and a gaffer who's fought and won battles far tougher than this. Saturday at Hull City's MKM Stadium isn't just another match in a long championship season. It's a genuine opportunity to prove that Sharp is right, that one victory can spark the confidence, that climbing even one place out of the relegation zone can flip the entire mentality, that this group of players can turn it around if they just believe. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. Will there be more frustration, more controversial decisions, more setbacks, more injuries, more heartbreak? Almost certainly. But if there's one thing I know about Sheffield United supporters, one thing I'm absolutely certain of, it's this: we don't walk away when things get tough. We get louder, we get angrier, we demand more, and we back our team through absolutely everything. So, which of these 3 stories affects you the most? Is it the refereeing shambles and Wilder's justified fury? The brutal honesty from Billy Sharp about our confidence crisis? Or the cruel injury blow to Chong before he even got started? Drop your thoughts in the comments below right now, because I genuinely want to know what's on your minds. And if you've made it this far through 20 minutes of pain, frustration, and cautious hope, thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell hard, and let's ride this storm together. Because when, not if, but when we turn this around, when we start climbing that table, when we rediscover what Sheffield United really is, you're going to want to say you were here through the absolute darkest days. Next video, we'll be breaking down the whole City match in forensic detail, analyzing Wilder's tactical tweaks and team selection, looking at whether his red card appeal was successful, and discussing what changes need to happen to drag us out of this nightmare. You will absolutely not want to miss it. Come on, you Blades. Red and White Army. Steel City forever. Let's get behind them this Saturday at Hull and show the rest of the championship exactly what Sheffield United is made of when our backs are against the wall. Up the Blades.